All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Chelsea, and I serve as the program manager for Gateway to the Rockies, Region 10 Opioid Council, also referred to as the GROC. Today's webinar is going to be about BioSketches, but I do have some announcements. So first, we do have listening tours planned for Jefferson, Gilpin, and Clear Creek counties. I will physically be going into each county. I apologize, this did not save in the update. I will make sure that gets done after the webinar today. But this is a chance for you to learn about the National Opioid Settlement Dollars, specifically the GROC, and share any concerns you have about addiction and recovery in your community. This will help guide the council during the RFA review process. Also, make sure that you are keeping up on the Q&A form. That is going to be right here. Answers are posted right here. I tried to include some headings. You can also use the Control Find, Control F feature to find specific trigger words. I try to look at this every single day. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on that. Remember that there are drop-in office hours on Thursdays from 1 to 2. It's a free-flowing meeting dialogue. Those meeting links are right here. If you subscribe to the Google Calendar, you'll get calendar invites for all of those with the links. Also keep in mind that the council is not looking for innovative, progressive, or novel projects at this time. They really are focused on empirically tested, proven to be true, evaluated and successful programs. So another is like stay in your lane, kind of a thing. And then remember that I do have a bookings calendar open to review applications for completeness. Once that's full, that's full. You can project out, so make sure that you jump on that sooner rather than later. So today we're going to go over this right here, personnel qualifications and BioSketches. This is a template upload. If you look at this one right here, the application submission information document, it looks like this. Scroll up to the top. It explains right here in the BioSketch personnel qualifications to use the template, and please only use Arial point 10 or 11 size font. So if you're working out of the template, that should already be set for you. I also provided you an example right here. So the template will look like this. Make sure that you go File, Download. That way you can work out of it on your computer. And then we'll just start typing. The BioSketch is really for like the 4 most involved people in the project proposal. So this would be like your grant manager. If you have a program manager that's going to be running the program on the ground, it would be that person. Perhaps your fiscal contact or who's ever doing your finances if it's not the grants manager. So really looking for no more than 4 of these. Everyone else would be an additional attachment as an organizational list of names and qualifications. It's not a job description and it's not a resume. It's a 1-page document that has their name and their job title and maybe 1 or 2 sentences about their role on the project and how an estimated amount of time that they would spend on the project. If you are hiring staff, so this person does not yet exist, then you would list the job title, and then the minimum qualifications for that job. I'm going to see if there's any questions in the chat about that difference before I go into the BioSketch. All right, feel free to drop those questions in. I will come back to the chat in a little bit. All right, so going into the BioSketch, you've downloaded your template. So this is going to be the person's name. If they have a formal title, like I have a PhD, I go by doctor. So that would be here. If they're an MD, a JD, that would go here. If MSW, you can put that here. What their position title is. So for example, my position with the GROC is program manager. You might put grants manager, MAT clinician. You should not have to do anything with this right here. That's all the format. Then you're going to put their education, beginning with the BA, the bachelor's or BS, the bachelor's degree. If they have an associate's degree, you would put the associate's degree and then the bachelor's degree and then the master's degree. This is going to be the institution and location. So California State University at Fullerton, Florida. This should say Tallahassee, but there's only one Florida state, so that's fine. And then the level of the degree, bachelor's, master's, PhD. The completion date as month and year. Notice the format is month, and then the 4-digit year. And then the field of study. This could be very generic. Like my field of study was communication studies. My emphasis is intercultural communication. And then this is also communication studies. My emphasis is in instructional communication and research methods. I can just put communication. My field of study is actually higher educational leadership and policy studies. That's really long. I just generally put higher ed. Then you're going to have a personal statement. You're looking for about 1 paragraph where you briefly describe why this person is well suited for their role on the project. Relevant factors may include aspects of training, previous experimental work on the field or related topics, technical expertise, collaborations to science, past performance in the related field. This is where you are bragging about yourself and why this is the best person to do this job. So again, I'm referencing being a program manager for the Regional Opioid Council. I said relevant to this program management position. My prior work experiences were in the field of substance use recovery and usually involved program and project oversight while simultaneously providing mentorship and coaching strategies to enhance workflow operations at the project program department levels. I'm passionate about leading others through complex challenges, developing human-centered solutions, effective and equitable and sustainable. For example, I successfully executed duties outlined in the program manager career posting while fostering an inclusive, growth-oriented culture. Then, to back all of this up, in section D, additional information, I put some of my scholarly engagement that was relevant to the position. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a publication. It could be a past job that they held. So they would put, maybe create a table that has the job title, the location, and then the years that they were there. So it could be a synopsis, a little snapshot of part of the resume that again backs up whatever you say in this personal statement. The next section, positions and honors, list in chronological order the positions you've held that are relevant to this application, concluding with your present position. We don't have high school undergraduate students, but you might have some key volunteers. So for individuals not located at the applicant's organization, include the expected position at the applicant organization, the expected start date. So this is also where you have some freedom. This could be more from your resume that aligns with the current job and what you did. So I listed some of my jobs that I had. Summer Series Program Manager, Strategic Project Manager, Learning and Talent Development Manager, another Program Manager position. I did Project Management Data Analyst, Assistant Program Manager. And then I listed some key successes from each of those jobs. So evaluated 3,000 points of data, facilitated a development program for 64 professionals, managed a budget up to $200,000 while supervising 16 employees and mentoring 25 other individuals. I participated in an NSF grant while working on my dissertation and running a collegiate recovery program. And then I served as a point of contact for people. So this right here is an extension of your resume. If you list part of your resume here, don't duplicate it here. Use this for other things. In the next section, contributions to the proposed project. Again, you're going to write out their specific job duties to this project. So in the proposed project, GROC Region 10 Opioid Abatement Council, I will dedicate 1 FTE, 40 hours per week as the program manager. My responsibilities include facilitating council and subcommittee meetings, monitoring and evaluation grant awardees, as well as the council, advising the council on local national data, advising of strategic funding priorities, collaborating with the fiscal agent on the budget, executing internal and external communication. So this is the job description. Again, you can see it's a very brief paragraph. It's like 5 sentences. And then finally, in section D, this is going to be your additional information. So again, research support, scholastic performance, community engagement. If you're talking about a grants manager, they might list the other grants that they have managed or are currently managing with the dollar amount. You can use a narrative format, or you can use bullet points. You can make a table. You can do a mix of both. So I experienced, this is where I told my own story in connection to the work of the GROC. I experienced a decade-long substance misuse habit induced by a sport injury and opioid prescription. I am considered an expert in the field of collegiate substance use recovery and collegiate recovery program for my vast knowledge of recovery pathways, methods, and principles. I am passionate about broadening interventions to serve more individuals who suffer substance misuse and finding creative ways to support their recovery. I have experience in this field at the intersection of higher education and nonprofit institutions, which contribute to my network of potential partners transitioning into the government sector. I am a resident of Region 10. And then again, I listed some scholarly engagement that was relevant to all of the things that I described here. This should not exceed 2 pages. Again, that's where that Arial font 1011 comes in. 1 page is great. This is a more targeted version of your curriculum vitae, your CV, or your resume. Again, it is not the resume. It has a little bit more narrative, a little bit more substance to it. Again, we're only looking for the biographical sketch, the BioSketch. from maybe 4 people. And then everyone else, we are looking for them to be listed as an additional attachment. There is no template for this additional staff. It could just be, again, like a one-page document that says additional staff, and then it has it numbered with their name, their title, their estimated time on the project, like 0.25 FTE, and then 1 to 2 sentences specifically about what they would do on the project. 1 to 2 sentences, very brief. We don't want to overload the committee with information. We want to give them just enough to understand the picture. If you are also asking to hire staff, then on that same document, you might put hire, like prospective staff minimum qualifications. Again, you would have maybe like a number 1, you would have lead MAT clinician, and then using bullet points, list the minimum qualifications. Then you might have number 2, have the program manager, whatever staff member you want to hire, again, using bullet points to identify minimum qualifications. That's entirely up to you. And I will stop sharing my screen to see what kind of questions have popped up in the chat. Even if you're typing a question, just send half of it for now so that we know you're typing. Last week, I forgot to start the webcast, and I did maybe like 6 minutes talking through the budget. No one could see me. Oh, thank you. Someone asked a question. You guys can see me. Amy says the BioSketch has a lot of information. It makes sense that not all will look like yours with articles. Correct. So again, it should be relevant to the position. If it's a grant manager, they probably would not have any publications that they cite. They would use instead previous grants that they've managed, like the name of the grant and how much it was. And it could just be like a bulleted list. That would be great. I also, you have to think of the person's background is I come from academia. So for the last 10 years, I was teaching faculty, research faculty, and then a student affairs professional. So how do I demonstrate my work experience in academia? That's scholarly publications. So that's why it made sense for me to do that. And it might end up only being, it should be 2 pages by the time you get some content in there, maybe like 1.5 pages. If you have a doctor on staff, that theirs might be a little bit closer to 2 pages. Most people are going to be a page to a page and a half. That's totally fine. Amy said, thank you for the previous answer. I sometimes act as both the program manager and grant manager. Both should be listed on the BioSketch. Yes. So you would have one BioSketch. I'm not sure what your position title is. You might be the CEO or the executive director. You would put that. And then in the personal statement, you would say, give a little bit about your role and how you serve sometimes as program manager and as grant manager. For the positions and honors, you might choose to list some of the program management activities you've done and what they've led to, and then have a second set of bullet points about some of the grants you've managed. Or you can use this section for just highlighting your program management success and things that you've done, like increased attendance by 25%. And then in this section, you might just list the grants that you've put your grant management stuff right here. That's completely fine. And then contributions to project, you would explain, like, I serve as the full-time grant manager of this project, responsible for all reporting. I dedicate another 50% of my time to program management activities, and maybe describe how you're going to balance those two responsibilities without burning out. Yeah, of course. I'm going to give it until 1:30, so about 6 more minutes, to see if there's any other questions from the people who attended the live session. Otherwise, it's going to be another short, sweet, to the point webinar. And you can ask questions about other things besides the BioSketch since we have this time. All right, if there's no other questions from the live audience, I am going to go ahead and end this webinar, get it downloaded and then uploaded to the YouTube channel. So it should be posted later tonight, definitely sometime tomorrow. Thanks everyone for coming. Remember, my bookings calendar is open. The bookings calendar on the funding page that only has availability for Tuesday and Thursdays is really just for RFA reviews, the final reviews. If you want to do a brainstorming meeting, I have a little bit more availability. If you have follow-up questions about different aspects of your application, what funding area you're best situated in, please shoot me an email. The bookings link might lead you to all of my availability for other meetings. But yes, thank you so much. I am here to support you and help you any way I can to get your application successfully submitted. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.